Hey guys, Horror Man back for another review. So today I have another custom figure review for you, and this is something that I have wanted for a very long time. Now, if any of you all know me at all, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, or in person, you know that one of my favorite movies is the 1989 Batman movie. I just really like those Tim Burton Batman movies. The first one and, of course, Batman Returns, but really, the 89 Batman is the one I really remember mostly as a kid, and that movie to me is almost perfect. I mean, it's just such a classic. But the one thing we really don't have is a really cool Jack Nicholson Joker figure in like a 6 or 7 inch scale. He's just one of the hardest people to try to get likeness rights from. And for those who don't know, Jack Nicholson definitely had a very complicated contract surrounding the 1989 Batman and his appearance in it. And it's made things very difficult, likeness-wise, to make any action figures of him or put him on any t-shirts or really any merchandise ever. And you'll notice that because there really isn't any out there. The only real merchandise we had was when this movie actually came out. And of course, the company's going to be able to use his likeness for certain things, but years later, 30 plus years later, now it's really hard to make anything. So you get to a point where you're like, okay, we're not going to see a figure of this ever. Maybe it's time to look around for a custom. So just to give you kind of a quick story about how this figure came to be. So maybe about 2 or so years ago, one of my friends slash customizers that I bought from before, he goes by, at least he used to go by Emerald Archer. I bought a red hood from him years ago, and I saw on Twitter that he had a few Joker blank head sculpts, the Jack Nicholson Joker blank head sculpts for sale. And I said, maybe I'll get a couple just to see what happens with it. And, maybe I could make 2 different versions of the head sculpt, or I could get somebody to paint it for me. But anyway, I bought the head sculpts from him, and nothing really came to be. I saw a couple different ways people made them, with like the Jim Gordon body from the Gotham show, which he looks cool, but he's kind of big. And then I saw some other versions with the head sculpts, and nothing really sold me on the look enough. So the head sculpts kind of were just thrown into a bin and just kind of forgotten about for a couple years. So flash forward to around 2020, Mattel had basically made these like 89 throwback figures, and they made one of the Joker, Alfred, the Batman like in the black suit, and they made a couple other figures, but the one that really stood out to me was the Alfred and this Joker. And the Joker really reminded me of that old Toy Biz Joker. So once I had the body for the head sculpts, the first thing to do was to think of a customizer that could make this look good, because I really didn't want to slap some paint on there and do a kind of a half-assed job. I really wanted to hire somebody I trust to make this thing, and one of the guys that's done a lot of work for me is Duzmachines84. You can find him on Instagram. He's done a few figures for me. One of them was a custom for my wife, which was really cool. He's also done some other things for me, which I'll show in this review. So let's go ahead and get on with the review. We'll take a closer look at the head sculpts, and I'll show you the articulation. If you're familiar with the Joker body, nothing was really changed for articulation. It's pretty much the same, aside from the neck and head sculpt articulation, but everything else is pretty much the same. It's just a different paint job with some different accessories. So let's go ahead and get a nice close-up of the head sculpts. Alright, so taking a look at the head sculpt, this is really what's the most impressive here. When I sent these to Duz, they were basically just blank, just look like wax, so you really have no paint at all. So this is the fully custom head sculpt. Now I'm not really sure like the origin of this, but it's really good, and whoever did this did a hell of a job, because it looks exactly like Jack does machines. He does a hell of a job on his paint. You can see the different lines in the forehead, how it's kind of like he does this certain like almost like a black wash to everything that really kind of paints the little crevices and all the little details of the faces that really make the figure look so good. And over to the side, again, you can see the amazing details in those little crevices of the face here. You can see the hair has a nice kind of black wash with the green to give it a little bit more of that highlighted green yet dark feel to it, like the Tim Burton movies just have that kind of shadowed look. The ears look really, really good. Just a great profile of Jack Nicholson's Joker. And again, really nice details in the hair. You can see all the different, again, like black wash kind of in there with all the different textures, but it really shows that nice green as well. And I really love how you can see the hair kind of combed back. Just really looks cool. But again, just awesome details in the ears, just everything, man. Just phenomenal job all around. So picking the other paint for the other head sculpt was a bit tough. For those that don't know, when you see Joker with a flesh tone face, that's his actual makeup. So it's basically him covering up his crazy pale skin that he's got from falling into the acid bath. So yeah, when he puts on makeup, it's basically a flesh tone, and that's what I got for the second head sculpt. So this is his makeup right here. The one thing I didn't think about with having an interchangeable flesh colored head sculpt and then an interchangeable like pale flesh tone head sculpt was the fact that he would have a different colored neck. And that's where Duzmachines kind of ran into a little bit of a hiccup, and that's what kind of held this figure up a bit from being finished a little bit earlier. So what he did is he basically made different necks. So you have the flesh tone, which is like the pale flesh tone, and then the way they're interchangeable is it's just a magnet. So you have the magnet on the lower part of the pale neck, and then if you want to interchange the head sculpt, you just attach the magnet. And even though I really prefer this like pale flesh tone for like the standard Joker, this version is just as creepy. Now, instead of the Joker like green hair, he's got more of a natural brown hair, and of course he has more of a natural flesh tone to him, but he still has that crazy Joker smile, which is really what makes it so creepy. But I really like the look, and even though he's still got that crazy Joker smile, you could really see the look of Jack Nicholson with this flesh tone look. Duzmachines just, man, he really nailed the paint on this. He did a hell of a job. Just like that other one, he put the same amount of detail into this. You could see all the different details show up in the lines in his face, the texture in the hair, the ears, you could see the different lines in them. Just phenomenal job, man. I mean, I love the eyebrows. He's really got those, like Jack Nicholson's got such defined eyebrows. I really like seeing it here. But just overall, man, just awesome paint job. And then here's just a nice quick shot of the back of the hair. Again, just really, really nice details in the texturing. So taking a look at the rest of the body, basically from the waist up, the figure itself is just like the paint itself was pretty much the same as the Joker from the movie. There's really no difference in terms of the colors. He had this same color palette that you see on this figure. And Duzmachines really didn't do too much, but add some black wash and just some ways to make it look a little bit less like a toy. The Mattel one really didn't have much detail. It's kind of just unpainted plastic. So that's when he does his thing. Now with the flower, that was a little different on the toy. It was just more of an effect where you could plug in this like effect to look like he's shooting the acid at somebody. It's a cool effect, but it really didn't have a lot of details in it. So because he changed all that, that effect is gone. But what's left is really, really nice details in that flower. But again, in terms of the little tie, the collared shirt, and the vest, it's pretty much the way it was already colored, again, just with some different details. But all of those different things were basically what he wore in the movie. And then here's the back of the coat, and you can see that it's got, again, more of that kind of black wash in there, just some different shadows and the details. And just like the movie, again, he has kind of like a longer back portion to the coat. Now the lower portion of the figure is the part that's not actually accurate to how he looked in the '89 movie. So for this figure, he had the striped pants, which is exactly what he had in '89 when Toy Biz made the Joker and Batman figures from the movie. That's pretty much what they sculpted on him, was these striped pants, which I actually think look really cool, and they're definitely nostalgic. That's why I didn't really want to change any of this. And adding a different half to this would have been really difficult. So in the actual movie, he wears like these plaid pants, kind of like golfer's pants. So you're not going to see it with this. But I do like the look of it. And again, all he really did for something like this is to kind of just blackwash it, add some details to it, just to make it look a little cooler. The one thing he did swap the colors on compared to the original figure is the feet. The feet have been completely painted, and even the socks are now purple instead of the white that was on there before. So that's the one thing he definitely did change, because he actually wears the same type of shoes in the movie. So another reason I really like this body is because it has a lot of articulation. So that was kind of like the selling point again for this figure. Now, since it has the magnet setup, you can really only go like side to side with the head, and that's the one downside of doing the magnet. You don't get that up and down with it, which I knew was going to be kind of a sacrifice, so that's one of the downsides to it, but I could definitely live with it. But in terms of the actual figure, you can go up really high, you can go out pretty far. He does have the double jointed elbows, and you can go down really far with the arm as well. And then as far as the rotation up top, not too much. You can turn a little bit side to side. You can look down a bit. He does have really good motion in the hand. He can definitely do the splits. Pretty good high kick. You can go forward pretty far. Got the double jointed knee. Not too much motion up and down on the feet. He does have a thigh swivel. Kind of weird with the pinstripe, but honestly you can just use the swivel at the top portion of the leg if you want instead. It goes back pretty far. And then a little bit of ankle pivot, not too much though. So I don't have a ton of accessories for this custom '89 Joker, but I've definitely got a few crucial items and then one that's just kind of fun. So let's just go ahead and take a look at the accessories here. So first and foremost, you have the regular interchangeable head. It's just kind of like that standard flesh tone head that we've already looked at. And then there's also a custom hat. Now the hat was made by JuicetinsCustoms. He's also on Instagram. He makes some really cool 6 and 7 inch scale accessories and kind of like just cool things if you'd like to do toy photography. And I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. Now the hat itself was originally designed for one of the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse characters. It's that like Spider Noir, but Duzmachines painted it in the Joker colors. So I had already had the hat and I just sent it to have repainted. And then also there's this Joker staff, which the staff actually came with that Mattel figure, but it was just this really plain gold plastic. It wasn't painted like at all. So he did his own paint scheme to it, kind of blackwash the eyes and the nose and the teeth and everything else. And then you have the hat painted a slightly different color with a little headband on there. So really cool. Like the Joker has a cane in the movie, but I think it's really cool to have this cool like jester hat skull on there. So definitely happy with that. And then the final accessory is one that didn't do anything with, and this is just a McFarlane Joker gun, and this was actually included with the Jack Napier like SWAT cop or whatever that was. That was one of the accessories included with them. And McFarlane's included this gun a couple times, but the one specifically with the SWAT version of Joker has better paint, so I chose to put that one in here. So that's all the accessories for the figure. Here he is wearing the hat. Now, originally I thought it sat up just a little too high, but after looking at pictures of him, he never really had the hat sitting that low on his forehead, so it actually looks pretty good. And since the hat is removable, I can also put it on the other head sculpt, which looks really cool as well. So yeah, overall, man, I'm really happy with the look of this hat. And here he is holding the cane with the skull jester. And again, you can see really, really good paint details in this. And like I said, I mean, the original was just plain gold. There wasn't any kind of real detail or paint scheme in it. So Duzmachines, you know, basically did his own style. And then finally, here he is with his very long Joker gun, which of course he shoots down the Batwing with. And honestly, this is one of the accessories I thought I probably wouldn't find. There's so many Joker figures, and I figured one of them had to have this long gun. And luckily, McFarlane's released 2 Jokers with the same gun, so I'm very happy that he released that. And I really like the addition of it. This is something I added after Duzmachines already shipped the figure, so it fits in perfect, and even though he didn't get to put his paint scheme on it, it looks really good, so I'm happy to have this one. So that's it for the accessories, but honestly I feel like I have pretty much everything I would need for this figure. The only other thing I might add is like some dorky glasses for like Batman to punch him in, or some kind of laughing bag, or like those like teeth. I know a couple different Joker figures came with like these cool laughing teeth. But yeah, man, overall, I'm pretty happy with the layout, and I don't really see a lot to add to this. So aside from this 89 Joker, I also have one other Duzmachines custom for 89 Batman, and it's basically this unmasked Michael Keaton, just Bruce Wayne Batman. And I was going for this kind of like modernization of like a quick change Batman. Now, unfortunately, this cowl won't actually fit over that head sculpt because the hair is sculpted and everything. But this, again, is one of those situations where I bought a head sculpt and just kind of threw it into the bin until I found the right person to customize it. So I'm very happy I found a customizer for both of these, and man, they look awesome next to each other, and you can see they scale pretty well together. So it's just seeing these two together just really brings back a lot of nostalgia for me. Alright, so that will lead us to our first comparison. So you have the custom unmasked Batman with the Duzmachines paint job. Then you have the 1989 NECA Batman. And of course these are the same figure, just with a different head sculpt on this one. And then the Mattel Alfred figure, which is amazing. Now that figure itself is almost the same figure as the Joker, it just has a little bit of differences. But the really cool thing about this Alfred is that they actually included a Michael Gow head sculpt, which he's the Alfred from 1989 Batman. So he just fits perfect with this. And again, you can see why I picked this Joker as the body to use, because he's really perfectly scaled with these figures. For the next comparison, here he is with the NECA Toys Dark Knight Joker, which of course is played by Heath Ledger. And you can see he's a little bit taller than the Jack Nicholson Joker, but that's true to scale. He's definitely taller than Jack in real life. And then this, of course, is a custom as well. That's a custom freak Joker paint job, but it is just a NECA sculpt. So really cool to have these guys finally next to each other and in scale together. And here he is with a couple other NECA DC characters. So you have the Batman from the 1966 TV show, and then of course you have the Christopher Reeve Superman. And here he is with a couple of import figures. So you have the Suicide Squad Joker made by Mafex, and then the Suicide Squad Harley Quinn made by SH Figuarts. And you can see they're a little on the short side. I think I can get a picture of this Jared Leto Joker more than I can this Harley. But you can see they don't quite scale together. NECA did make a Harley Quinn in that 7-inch scale, and it's basically based off the Arkham City game. So if you do want to get a Harley for your collection to kind of do, you know, some kind of make-believe Harley Quinn for the '89 Joker, I think this one fits in pretty good. Here he is next to all my Duzmachines84 custom figures. So you have the 2012 cartoon Armagon from Ninja Turtles, and then you have the Unmasked Batman, which we looked at already, have the Joker, of course, the 30 Seconds to Mars Jared Leto, and then the Slash from the Ninja Turtles, which is loosely based on the Archie comics and Playmates, kind of like toy paint job. Alright, and for the final comparison, here he is next to the Batman the Animated Series Joker, which even with this animated series, you can see the similarities in the costume, which is really cool. And then here he is next to another custom figure, at least a custom head sculpt. So this is the Marvel Legends Mobius body, and then with a dirty, hairy Clint Eastwood head sculpt. So again, you can see these guys don't quite scale together, just to give you an idea of the scale of the Joker. Alright, so that's my review of the Duzmachines custom 1989 Joker figure. And overall, man, he's knocked it out of the park with this figure. I can't say enough how happy I am with all the different like custom details and just work that he's put into this figure to really bring it to life. I really love the detail he's put into the paint on the face sculpts, but not just that, he actually added that magnet feature, which isn't something I asked for, but overall it's just been really cool with how to interchange the different head sculpts on here. I really love that the different necks he's added to them are different colors, so it just works perfect with each different head sculpt. So overall, man, I can't say enough about all the details and the paint work and just the overall quality of figure he's customized here. If you haven't seen his work before, I highly recommend checking him out. Again, it's Duzmachines84, and you can find him on Instagram, and that's where he kind of showcases most of his different custom paint jobs and different custom figures that he's done. So thanks for watching my review. Special thanks goes out to Duzmachines84 for helping me with another custom figure. Definitely greatly appreciate it, man. Very happy with how it came out. And then also thank you to JuicetinsCustoms, which has done some really cool custom stuff for me. This hat definitely works out perfect for the Joker, so I'm very happy with that. And then also thanks to Emerald Archer for helping me out with these head sculpts. So if you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I appreciate you watching my video, and if you'd like to see more like it, please go ahead and subscribe. I post videos here and there, mostly NECA stuff, horror, some Ninja Turtles, Batman, but I mostly stick to like the 7-inch scale, so if you haven't subscribed already, please go ahead and do that. And until next time, guys, see ya!